Alright, what is up YouTube? Jacob here. Hope you're doing well. Today I want to do a video on a topic that I've gotten so many requests for and that I've tried to answer a few times, but I wanted to put all in just one video to try to help out some of you guys. And I know a lot of you have this question, and it is how to start a brand or how to start a streetwear brand. In Q&As in the past, I've done or given tips like be original, focus on marketing, think of a good name, stuff like that. And I feel like that is really common sense stuff. And there's a lot of ways to start a brand. So in today's video, I kind of wanted to do just a history of how my brand came to be, how it started, how I paid for it, all that, and hopefully it helps some of you guys out. Hopefully it gives you some insight, and if it doesn't, maybe you'll just enjoy the story. So I'm just gonna get into it. I wrote down some notes to kind of keep me on track. How I got into clothing in the first place, or how I really started getting interested in it. It was through the internet. So I remember like all my life, I liked shopping, I liked getting new clothes. But when I started buying stuff on the internet, I got really into it, and I started watching YouTube videos, people like Jacob Keller. I started watching YouTube on clothes, and it really piqued my interest. I started getting into styles, and what naturally resulted was I started doing background research on brands, who owned them, how they started, and it was honestly really interesting to me. Just the kind of idea of operating a brand or like designing your own thing was always very interesting to me, but I didn't really know anything about it. I didn't necessarily know if I could do it, so I kind of put that idea on the back burner. And I was in high school, I don't remember how old I was, maybe 16, and I was going to high school and just doing like a normal 16-year-old thing. I don't know about you guys, but me personally, I've always been someone who saves their money. So I was working at this job like all summer and into the school year. I think I had maybe like $5,000 or $6,000 saved up, and I didn't know what to do with it. And then I met this kid. He basically sold iPhone cases at the time. And he kind of was telling me how he did e-commerce, and just from meeting him, I got kind of interested in it, and I decided, hey, how about I take this money I've saved and try to invest it in a brand. I kind of already had a little bit of a following on YouTube, on Instagram, whatever. Not like too much, but I thought, you know what, I might as well risk it. Hopefully I at least make my money back. What ended up happening is I went online, I did a lot of research on manufacturers, and I found the best countries for what I wanted. I was looking at places in the US and outside the US, and that's something a lot of people ask me about, how to find a manufacturer. It really is not hard. You can find everything through the internet, Googling. There's tons of websites and resources that you'll be able to easily find that will connect you to manufacturers. Really, the problem I think with most kids is having money. So I did have the money saved up, and if you want to do something, usually you're going to need a little bit of money. I learned quickly that things like factories, they have an MOQ, which is a minimum order quantity. So if you want to make like a t-shirt design, you're gonna have to order maybe like 100 or 150. So regardless, you're gonna be investing money. So I did some research. I put together this collection of designs that at the time I think was pretty good. I don't really know what I was going for or how I thought back then or how I thought about how you design clothes, but the collection I think wasn't terrible for my first attempt, and like at the time I wore it so much, so it was very on par with what I like, because I remember I wore that sweatshirt so often. I gave it to a lot of my friends, and I remember when I released it, it sold pretty good. I didn't really care about making money, I just wanted to make my money back so I could do another collection and just kind of progress it and see where it went. A lot of my homies I remember helped out, like Avery gave me a retweet, Jacob Keller gave me a retweet. I remember Kyron wore it back in the day, shout out Kyron. And it was a fun little drop, and so after that I decided to reinvest all that money in my second drop. The second drop, also like looking back on it, I don't know what I was going for. I don't think I really think about like designing collections or pieces or inspiration the same way I do now. I more thought of it just as like, oh, this is a cool color, or this is a cool style, I want to do something like that, I want to kind of make this. Nothing necessarily really went together, but it was a bunch of stuff I thought was cool. I put it together. I remember one thing is the first drop, my website was just absolutely awful. My product shots were terrible. So I wanted to kind of improve that. So I remember I bought a white backdrop and some lighting. It honestly was not that hard to take some, I guess, decent product photos. I used Shopify, and I kind of learned a little bit about HTML, and I coded a kind of janky but alright website. This drop, I remember I released it and it was selling, and it sold honestly a lot better than the first drop, and I was pretty excited about that. And then something awesome happened. I remember a few homies from YouTube, Jacob Keller and I think Bullet RC, put my sweatshirt in their video. I just kind of sent it to them, not really knowing if they'd like it, if it would fit their style. But they ended up both liking it. They promoted it. And this is kind of like the first item I think really took off. Every time I restocked this sweatshirt, it sold out. And that was kind of the first time I started figuring out like sales and stuff like that. But that sweatshirt really sold good and I was super excited about that. It took me a while to do the next collection because I was in kind of a weird space and I was kind of transitioning schools and I think my style was changing a lot. I think I had some personal things going on as well, so it just took a minute for me to really finalize the designs I wanted. But there was some great things in this. This is the first time I made a wool coat, and I made some pants, I made some sweatshirts. I did a washed look on one, which I thought was super dope. What I kind of was happy about was since the other stuff sold good, like making that wool coat I could not have done before, but since I got the sales I could kind of invest in it, and that was like a big risk. I think I maybe made my money back on that coat, but it was just so expensive to make. And I didn't really care about making money on it, I just wanted to be able to make it. And so that's kind of like where I learned, like you kind of have to balance looking at clothing as like a business and looking at it as like a creative thing, because you need a good mix of both to continue designing, to continue your brand. I remember this drop, my website was getting a lot better, and then the drop after that was a Jacob Keller collab, which was super dope. The shorts, I'm even wearing them right now. That drop was like super successful, and by then, that wasn't that long ago, that was like a year ago. It was super fun with that drop, like working with Jacob Keller and doing collaboration. And then my newest drop, which was also successful, I think this newest drop was the one that I kind of spent more time on. It took me a long time to do. I wanted things to have a certain look and a certain style. And the drop I'm working on right now, honestly, I'm so excited for. It's better than anything I've ever made. I'm just so happy with it. I'm so proud of it, and it's coming out soon. But that's not the point of this video. But if you can take away one thing from this video, it's that you don't have to go to a certain school or be from a certain place to make a brand, to create something. I think everyone has something creative to offer. With me, what really worked best was sticking with it, continually doing stuff, even when I wasn't sure if something was good. If I just liked it, I decided to do it. And I guess if you stick with that, eventually you'll progress, you'll figure things out, hopefully pieces will fall into place. I honestly hope this is good advice. It's worked out for me. I thank you all for supporting me over the years. If you have any like specific questions that I didn't really go over in this video, leave a comment. I'll try to answer like as many as I can. I thank you for watching. I'll see you super soon. My name is Jacob. Peace out and take care, you guys.
Coming late. I heard that your nigga in lane. I heard that your nigga in lane.